All right. So U.S. banks' unrealized losses have soared to 7 times 2008 crisis levels. The banks seem to be taking massive hits with their unrealized losses on their securities skyrocketing to 750 billion by Q3 of this year. Again, that's 7 times higher than the unrealized losses reported during 2008, where banks faced 100 billion in losses. Do we have an underreported banking crisis about to explode, or is this metric of unrealized losses overblown?
Well, I think that the unrealized loss reported numbers they are they're an accurate assessment of the circumstance. The real question when you're thinking about the second and third order risks of such a situation is what are the regulators going to do about it? Because in the banking context, to the extent that banks experience losses all the time, and banks can even operate with negative equity for an extended period of time. The main risk for the banks is whether the Fed, the OCC, and others force those banks to realize those losses, essentially book those losses in terms of taking it on their equity capital. And so I think what we've seen post SVB and the I don't know what you call it, kerfuffle that happened there. Not quite a crisis, but not smooth sailing either. Has been a real push from U.S. bank regulators to basically sweep this risk under the rug and not recognize that it's occurring. And so banks can continue to operate just fine as long as depositors feel safe in terms of their deposits. And the Fed and the Treasury have basically made a full backstop on that element. So if there's going to be a risk, it's unlikely to repeat what we saw in 2008, given the regulatory framework that's in place in response. It's probably going to have to be outside the banking system. In many ways, the Fed and the Treasury kind of learned their lesson to not let the banks get into real trouble, no matter what it takes. And so they're at least not going to cause a challenge the way they did in 2008. So they've learned their lesson there. The question is, are they missing something that is outside of their purview?